women Gribni cell used to organize Hello. Hello everyone. I think it is a network issue. Sorry for inconvenience. Hello. सहसील हृदय में भर दे, जीवन त्याग से भर दे, सम सत्य सनी का वर दे, माँ सरस्वती आपके जीवन में उल्लास भर दे. May the divine power blesses us all. A link of feedback form will be shared on chat box after the speech of every chief guest and guest of honor of today's webinar. The certificate will be provided only those participants who will fill the feedback form. The for question answer session, please drop the message of Dr. Monica Tyagi chat box. I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor Mohammad Javed Sir, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor and Registrar Sir Kandal DP Singh Sir, our Honorable Chief Guest Dr. Himayu Rashid Khan, Guest of Honor Professor Preeti Misra, all respected deans, HODs, faculties of Monad University, all participants from other institutes, students and everyone who joined us. Very good morning to all of you. Let us start today's program, and in this contrary, I welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor and Patron-in-Chief of today's webinar, Professor Mohammad Javed Sir, to say few words on today's topic. He is a man of distinct vision, an ideal of knowledge, experience, and inspiration to all of us. He is the face value of our university. His leadership is reflected in all development activities of our university. Sir, please say a few words on today's talk. Over to VC, sir.
Thank you, Monica. Respected patron,
Hello. Hello.
hello, are you audible?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Are you audible?
Sir, yes.
Everyone is audible?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Yes, sir, audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Hello.
Sir, आ रही आवाज sir.
Sir, you are audible. You can continue.
Respected patron, Colonel DP Singh ji, esteemed chief guest, Dr. Himayu Rashid Khan, and guest of honor, Professor Dr. Preeti Mishra, and entire participants of that is very burning for today, that is crimes against women, challenges and safety measures. So first of all, I congratulate the host of this webinar that they have even topic on this burning issue that is very important for today's scenario, because we know that we are living in this era that is the era of computer. Everything has two parts. One is positive and that is the negative. So in the negative part, the utilization of computer towards the crime, specifically against the women, that is the cyber crime. According to Oxford Reference Dictionary, the cyber crime as a crime committed over the internet. The another writer says it's a subcategory of computer crime and it refers to criminal offenses committed using the internet or another computer network. A component of the crime. According to Thomas Loader, the computer mediated activity which are either or considered illicit by certain parties and which can be conducted through global electronic network. According to Mellon, the cybercrime is as any activity that uses the internet to commit a crime. If we talk the why cybercrime happened, so due to this, the illegal gain, revenge, insult to modesty of men, extortion, blackmailing, sexual exploitation, hate against community, prank, steal information, and serious psychotic the status of cybercrime in India overall 66.3%, in which out of 1.4% reported from Uttar Pradesh and 19.3% from Maharashtra and 8.9% from Karnataka. How much there are so many kinds of cyber crimes: harassment through email, via threatening, bullying, and cheating by fake IDs comes under the section of 292 and 509 of IPC. The another cyber crime is stalking, means a person stealthily, according to Oxford Dictionary. In this category, there are sexually
इसको पकड़ती रहे सुनती रहे
love,
क्या मतलब सर? मैंने कहा इस सरकार ने
ego,
लिखे पढ़े छोड़े कहाँ हैं?
and
मैंने यही कहा इसमें तो पढ़े लिखे छोड़े कहाँ हैं? मैंने हर चीज में अंगूठा दे दिया।
Hello? Hello?
जहाँ में वहाँ अंगूठा लगाऊं मैं, बैंक में जाओ वहाँ अंगूठा लगाऊं मैंने। इसमें पढ़े लिखे छोड़े ना, तो आप भी कोई अंगूठा रखवा लेते हैं।
मोनिका मैम,
आप कौन बोले?
हेलो मैम,
and Singapore.
हेलो, गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
only English. Okay, guys. अगले आदमी परदेसी ना
The cyber defamation means the published defamatory matters on website through email, by hacking Facebook, Google's, etc. Next is the cyber grooming. Build online relationship for ill motive. Next, the cyber pornography. That is the most dangerous threat to the female netizens. 50% websites are providing this such type of materials. Next is morphing. Morphing is the editing the original picture by unauthorized users by fake identity is termed morphing. Morphed, repeated, uploaded on different websites by fake profiles after editing. There are provisions of in Constitution section 4490 of IPC. That's the spoofing. When an email its origin in spoofing that show the origin to be different from the actual. Next is the phishing. Phishing is attempt to gain sensitivity information
बनेगी तो वहीं ब्लॉक कार्यालय में
and last is trolling.
ब्लॉक कार्यालय में आपका ना
Conflict on the internet.
उसमें जमा होगा फॉर्म। मैंने कहा भाई यो अभिषेक रेड
बना हुआ हमारा का। अब मैंने पापा से भी कही ना ये बोर्ड बना मेरा बनवा दियो।
तो वहीं बनेगा वो।
नहीं हमारे तो जाएंगे 5-6 बोर्ड। एक भैया का हो गया, भाभी का हो गया।
है कुछ नहीं, हम खाके टेंशन में
टेंशन बाजी छोड़ो, वोट है सुतरा आवेंगे तो सही है ना सर। थोड़ा सा ये तो हो जा।
Hello.
Yes.
कई मामला भी कर जा।
Hello. Hello. So you're audible. Hello.
हेलो मैम।
Hello, Vice Chancellor, sir. Sir, you are not audible. Hello. Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Yes ma'am, you are audible.
I am audible, but sir is not audible, no?
Yes ma'am, sir is not audible.
I think some network issue, that's why sir is not audible, so please wait some time.
Okay ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, can I ask something, please?
Hi, yeah, please.
Yeah, आपने feedback form कहा था ना, so where we are supposed to give the feedback after everything?
Definitely, yeah, you will get the feedback form from the chat box, but after the speech of the speakers, in the end of the program. In the chat box, you will get it. Hello? Hello?
कहाँ किस किस से जाऊं माइक खोलता हुआ?
Any other question? तब तक sir join हो रहे हैं, you can ask the questions related to feedback form and other information.
What is the duration of the seminar? Because it was not mentioned in the mail.
Actually, it depends on the timing and the timing is.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Yes, sir. You are audible now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So please continue. Please continue.
This topic. So I am talking the impact on human.
Hello. Sir, you are not audible. Again. Hello. One ma'am asked me about the duration of the program, the timing we
Someone has muted you, Monica ma'am.
Yeah, now I am unmuted. So hopefully it will be finished around 1.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Hello, VC sir, are you audible?
Hello, Soma ma'am. Hello.
Hello.
Soma ma'am.
I think it's a connectivity issue. That's why
Monica ma'am,
to join us.
Monica ma'am, VC sir has some connectivity issue and there is nobody in the room. Please ask some.
Okay.
Are you audible?
So, okay. Sir, you are not audible. Thank you. I think due to the network issue, our VC sir is not connecting. But thank you, sir, for enhancing us with your words of wisdom. Thank you, sir. ईश्वर ने भी कीमती रत्न गिनती के बनाए हैं। ईश्वर ने भी कीमती रत्न गिनती के बनाए हैं। उन रत्नों में से सबसे कीमती रत्न आज हमारे बीच आए हैं। उन रत्नों में से सबसे कीमती आज हमारे बीच आए हैं। Yes, I'm talking about the 2 diamonds of today's webinar. For this, I over the mic to Dr. Sorbi Datta ma'am, Dean of School of Sciences and Agriculture, to introduce and welcome our honorable chief guest and guest of honor. Over to Sorbi Datta ma'am. Sorbi ma'am, please continue.
I'm audible, ma'am?
Yeah, ma'am, yes. You are audible.
Okay, so thank you, Monica ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the national webinar on cyber crimes against women, challenges and safety measures. I take this opportunity to welcome today's chief guest, Dr. Humayun Rashid Khan, in the seminar. Welcome you, sir. Welcome. He merely requires an introduction. He is a well-known personality of his own field. Dr. Humayun Rashid Khan is LLB and LLM from Aligarh Muslim University. He has also completed his PhD from Aligarh Muslim University. At present, he is on deputation as Additional Director of Research in Judicial Training and Research Institute, Uttar Pradesh. He had served as Special Secretary and Additional Legal Remembrancer in Supreme Court Legal Cell, New Delhi. He had also served as Deputy Director, Judicial Training and Research Institute, Uttar Pradesh. He has almost 15 years of training, judicial education, and teaching experience. He had published 2 books and more than 20 research papers and articles. He also had experience to attend several seminars, conferences, and workshops. I'm sure we all are blessed and will benefit by sharing his expertise and knowledge of his field. So, without wasting any more time, from the behalf of whole Monarch fraternity, I welcome you, sir, in today's webinar. Mic is over to you, sir. Humayun, sir, welcome very much. Good morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I am happy to be connected with you all. Although there are certain disruptions, technology is a good friend as well as a bad one. So sometimes it doesn't support. It did not support while your Vice Chancellor was speaking. I was eager to hear him, but yet we cannot get connected with him. So I am happy to be amongst you on a very, very important topic, which has got its relevance many folds when the pandemic started, because cyber crimes against women and children have gone steeply up in the pandemic. The data is available, National Commission for Women, and then there are other organizations like Cyber Peace Foundation, Akansha Foundation, and others who have given this data. Should I move ahead with my presentation, or will I be addressing it later on? Can Dr. Mona hear me?
Yes, sir, you can start, sir. But
I should go ahead with what
Yes,
I
sir.
speak.
yes, sir, absolutely.
That's wonderful. Let me begin.
Okay, sir.
Am I audible to everyone? My voice is clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir,
sir. You are audible.
Very,
Yes, sir.
very clear, sir.
Let me begin with the popular science fiction writer and a futurist who is called as Arthur C. Clarke, more popular in United States of America and Western countries, other European countries, than in the Indian subcontinent. He said, and I quote, "Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic." What we may point out in this observation, very important one, is sufficiently advanced technology and magic. Both are in a position where advanced technology can do something which is magical in nature. Like it has connected us all on a virtual platform so easily. Otherwise, if we would have gone for this conference physically, it would perhaps not be possible for many, maybe for me and for others also, to join this particular important conference. But it has now become possible because of virtual platform. So this is a positive magical effect of technology and technological advancement. But at the same time, we have a lot of negative, pernicious effects of technological advancements also. As we do see in magic, sometimes magic could be wonderful, sometimes magic could be dangerous as well. So this technological advancement, which is magical in nature, has come up with problems of its own. And the worst victims of this pernicious effects of technology are obviously women and children. And cyber crimes are one such reflection where we see as to how this technology has affected women and children, particularly the sex crimes which have been committed against them. So it was Government of India's view so as to come up with a comprehensive law to deal with these problems. The major issues that we actually come up when we talk of cyber crimes is harassment through emails. A lot of women are getting harassment through emails where not only a vulgar language is used, but threats are also made. And then they are asked to do something. If they don't do, the consequences will follow. These kinds of threatening emails are received time and again by the female and children. Then cyber stalking and cyber bullying, which your Vice Chancellor was also talking about. These are common problems that we are facing. Cyber smearing, which is also called cyber defamation. This is again another issue which we are encountering in these days. Child pornography is something which has affected our minds deeply. In fact, it is often said that an empty mind is devil's house. So when pandemic took place, COVID-19 came, the situation became difficult. People had to stay back in their house. And then they started, the devilish mind started, deviating into different zones, where the mind had gone for committing certain crimes against women and children. So the rate increased manyfold. Let me share with you some data which the National Commission for Women gave. According to the data of National Commission for Women, 54 cybercrime complaints were received online in April this year, in comparison to 37 complaints received online in 2019. Meaning thereby that as soon as this COVID-19 pandemic started coming into disturbing the lives, the rate of crime also increased because people got a lot of time in their home and they started indulging in all these nefarious designs, nefarious acts. Then again, there is a Akansha Foundation, which says that 42 genuine complaints of cyber abuse from March 25th till April 25th were received in the year 2019 when the COVID-19 pandemic took place. So the complaints, number of complaints rose up to 412. Earlier, they were a lot less than that. Then, of course, it says that the increase is 20-25% during the lockdown. Every day, they are getting at least 10 complaints regarding abuse, cyber abuse. Madam, please close that door. Bahar tak ja rahi hogi. And then we have Cyber Peace Foundation, which also comes up with glaring data which shows cyber crimes against women and children. It has basically focused on sextortion, which is extorting money on sexual favors from someone by threatening to reveal the evidence or identity. And this is how they extort money. We had extortion as a crime in Indian Penal Code, but this is something which has taken a new shape, sextortion. Sexual favors are supposed by the criminal on the basis of making extortion threats, and henceforth it is taken by these kinds of criminals. Then there is another, organization, InfoSec Girls, which has also stated that during COVID-19 pandemic, the crimes against women and children have increased many-fold. They are going into a different direction. This shows that when we get time, we don't spend it with the family. We don't spend it with friends. I mean, on the virtual platform also, we could have done it with family and friends. But what this empty mind started doing is it has started indulging in a different zone, in a zone where it disrespects women, it disrespects children. It does not give importance which is required to be given to women in our society, to children in our society, who are precious contributors in our social system, in our family system. So this is how, things started taking a bad shape. Then, of course, there is data available with regard to election and the threats which were made to different female candidates who participated in the 2019 election. Of course, that was before the pandemic, but yet this platform, digital platform, was used to cause threat to the people, particularly the women in that. This gives me or reminds me of a book recently published by Carl Benedict Frey. He's a professor of computer sciences in the University of Oxford. His book is entitled The Technology Trap. He says that technology has trapped us in a difficult zone where we are not able to come out of that mentally and sometimes even physically, as we carry some gadgets on our body, whether it is harming ourselves or not, we don't care much about that, but we wish to carry a gadget with us, the electronic gadget, the computer or digital gadget, we can call it, even to the temples, to mosques, to church, and to other religious places. We carry it as if it is so important that we cannot have a departure from that. So this trapping by technology of our minds and heart is going in a negative direction. We have seen that this virtual platform has come as a rescue for us during the course of this COVID-19 pandemic, because it has made possible, the teaching by schools, universities, colleges, institutions. But at the same time, the data available shows us that it is now affecting badly the mind of children. They are their eyes, their mind, their other physical conditions are being affected by this. So this is the backdrop in which we can reflect on the legal landscape that exists to protect women, children, and others from cyber crimes. The IT Act, which was passed in the year 2000, and which was passed in view of the developments in India that took place basically in 90s. And it tried to comprehensively adopt whatever possible measures could have been adopted by an act which was dealing with the advanced technology like information technology, or you may say digital field. So it has tried to involve whatever was possible. Still, it was required to be substantiated, which was later on substantiated by certain rules passed by the Government of India. Let me take the chapter which deals with the offenses against women and children. That chapter is chapter 11 of the IT Act, in which section 65 deals with the hacking of computer system. The chapter begins with this particular provision of law, and this talks of the punishment which could be given for those who are involved in hacking the computer system. This is the stage from where the entire story starts. Then comes section 66. I'll be briefly reflecting on them because we have only to impart a kind of information or share information in a manner whereby it will be helpful for the women participant in the program. So section 66A talks of punishment for offensive messages through communication services, etc. The way in which criminals, cyber criminals, I must call them, move on committing the crimes is that they basically send offensive messages, and on the basis of those offensive messages, they cause mental harassment. Then they sometimes get involved in extortion of money from the people. If they get some intimate pictures from somewhere, they start using that as a ground for exploitation. So these provisions deal with that. Then comes section 66D, which provides punishment for cheating by personation using computer. Personation is a crime which is traditionally known to all the legal systems, and it was in a different manner, committed in a different manner long back. But now with the development and advancement of science and technology, particularly information and communication technology, this offense is committed in a different manner using computer as a means to commit this offense. So this provision deals with the control and punishment of these kind of offenses. Then we have 66E, punishment for violation of privacy. Privacy is something which now forms part of fundamental right. Honorable Supreme Court in a plethora of judgments has declared right to privacy to be an important fundamental right. So this provision takes up privacy as an important aspect of IT Act. And if it is violated through any gadget, computer, mobile, or any other digital means, then of course this provision gets attracted. And as far as the courts in UP are concerned, we get a lot of cases on section 67 of the IT Act. Then we have 67, which deals with publishing of information which is obscene in electronic form. There has been an issue before the courts regarding section 292 of IPC and section 67 of IT Act. There has been some overlapping because 67 of IT Act deals with the obscene acts through the use of the technology, through the use of computers, through the use of digital platform, whereas section 292 IPC deals with the obscene acts done otherwise than using technology. So there is sometimes overlapping. Discharge applications are also received in court of law. Sometimes people are discharged from the offense of IPC, but they are not discharged from the offense of IT Act. This is how things move. Then there is section 67A, punishment for publishing or transmitting of material containing sexually explicit act. This is the most nefarious aspect which is very common on virtual platform in view of the digital developments that have taken place. So the offenses, most of the offenses are coming under this. And I have 2-3 cases to mention, which I'll mention after a few minutes, where these provisions have been taken up at length by the Honorable Supreme Court. And those who are interested to know more about these provisions may go through those cases. I'll be mentioning them. Then comes section 67B, which talks of punishment for publishing or transmitting of materials depicting women or children in an intimate manner and then exploiting them. So this provision has been specifically made to address that issue, particularly the issue of children. We all might recall the situation where about two decades back, when I was a student, a girl in Delhi whose classmate got some intimate video recorded, and then that video went viral. This brought not only the girl but the entire family into deep disgrace, and the family was embarrassed and humiliated in such a manner that that particular hapless family had to leave the country and settle down in some foreign land. That family was a well-off family, but the unfortunate incident which occurred led them to leave our motherland. So that was a very sad event, which is still comes up and haunts my mind off and on. So that kind of situation arose at that point of time. Now let me take up the relevant rules. See, the act which was framed in 2000 cannot meet the expectations of a rapidly changing field like information and communication technology. So it had to be changed or substantiated or edited or modified, or some additions were required to be made. That our government, our legislature did through framing the rules. The government, particularly the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and Information and Technology, both who jointly framed these rules. The first important rules relate to Information Technology Rules 2003, which came soon after the Act came into being. These rules deal with a number of issues contained in Chapter 11 of the IT Act. Then came Cyber Regulations Appellate Tribunal Rules 2003, and then they got further elaborated through the rules framed in 2009. This will show the pace with which changes are coming up in the information technology field and the way in which we need to make additions from time to time. So these rules elaborated in a better manner what was actually provided in 2003 rules. Then came the IT rules of 2004 and 2009, which became more extensive, more elaborative, and made the entire picture more clear as compared to the earlier rules. Then we have the IT procedure and safeguards blocking of access of information by public rules 2009. These rules, in fact, provide the blocking of those actions on digital platforms which create troubles for private individuals. They will be blocked but preserved for the purposes of legal action. They will not be left out in the public space. This is what these rules actually provide. There is a form under Rule 6.2 which talks of the manner in which requests and complaints should be made. This is very important for all the participants, for all those who are present here in general and women in particular. Because if you have to make a complaint to police station or to cyber cell, you'll have to go on this form, which you can get in the rules. And the rules are appended to the act that is called IT Act of 2000. Then, of course, there is IT procedure and safeguards for monitoring and collecting traffic data on information rules 2009. This relates to the regulation of data information in the cyberspace. Then, of course, we have IT reasonable security practice and procedures and sensitive personal data or Information Rule 2011. Further rules were made to substantiate this, to elaborate this. Then, of course, the IT Intermediaries Guidelines Rules 2011 were made so as to provide the guidelines which IT-related industries and companies have to follow, and they must be regulated under those as well. Then the IT Guidelines for Cyber Cafe Rules 2011. You all may remember that a number of cyber cafe were there during late 90s, and then in the first decade of 21st century. Most of the people were going to access internet on cyber cafe, and they were moving unregulated. Still they exist, but their number has considerably been reduced. So these rules were made to control them, to restrict them, to force them to have a register where entries will be made as to who was accessing which system. It could be accessed later on, or it could be found who was involved in that. Then IT Electronic Service Delivery Rules of 2011, and finally National Cyber Security Policy of 2013. This is a very, very important policy which has been made in the year 2013, which also provides for the research and development in the field of information and communication technology. It also provides for promoting awareness, digital awareness, which is very, very important for controlling these kinds of crimes. So these are the rules which are available and which are taken recourse to in controlling these kinds of crimes. Now let me come straight to 2-3 very important issues, including the number which is there, numbers on which WhatsApp can be sent if there is any problem to any female against cyber crimes. I'll come to those numbers. Before that, one important issue which has been taken up, which has been taken care of, is the confidentiality which is to be maintained regarding the identity of the request made by a complainant under Form 16 or using Form 16 as provided under Rule 6 sub-rule. This confidentiality is protected or is made under Rule 16. All the requests and complaints to be confidential. This is what Rule 16 says. Whenever any female or any girl child makes a complaint against a cyber crime, the information is to be provided by that complainant. And those informations sometimes may be very personal. And it would be sometimes difficult for complainant to share those information on a public platform. A complainant may be reluctant, or a complainant may not go at all to police because of those informations. So the rules have provided that that information will be kept confidential so as to encourage complainants to come forward and make complaint wherever it is required. Now let me share with you WhatsApp number which has been provided for making complaints if somebody is interested to provide that on WhatsApp number. This WhatsApp number is 9017666667, and it is also said as APCID, and a toll-free number called 112 toll-free number for Disha police stations, which are specifically meant for reporting cyber crimes. In fact, when I was posted in Delhi as additional legal remembrancer, looking after the litigation of UP in Supreme Court of India, there I sometimes used to meet police officers who were dealing the cyber crimes. And once I met an assistant commissioner of police who came from Noida to make a counter affidavit in one of the cases before the Honorable Supreme Court. There I asked him as to what is the position of cyber crimes in NCR. So he said that these crimes are rising steeply. They are increasing in number. But some complainants are feeling reluctant. Some people, females are feeling reluctant to come to police station and lodge a complaint. We are encouraging. We are going for certain counseling sessions also, so as to encourage them. So gradually it has increased, but it is still not in sufficient number. There are a number of cyber crimes which remain unreported. This is what he actually said. He said that sometimes we are also not able to understand certain niceties, certain minute points involved in this field, because they are technical, extremely technical in nature. So we need help from technical experts, from cyber experts. So, and they are sometimes offered voluntarily by organizations also. But still, he was saying that we need to explore more and more in this field. So this is how he actually told me something about that. So 2-3 points. I have already taken a lot of time. 2-3 important points which I wish to make are number one, in case of cyber crimes, a victim may contact the nearest cyber cell. Cyber cells have been developed in most of the districts, particularly the Western UP districts. But if there are not cyber cells, then a complainant may straight away go to police station, meant for lodging general complaints. But if there is cyber cell, it has to be reported to. In most of the districts, it has now come up. So it has to be reported to cyber cell. A complaint may also be filed anonymously through National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal. The government has come up with a portal which is called as National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal. And the portal is cybercrime.gov.in. This portal is meant for straight away lodging complaints. Otherwise, one can go to the nearest cyber cell. To file a complaint alleging commission of a cyber crime, there are certain documents which are to be provided by the complainant. Now, what are those documents? Number one, in case of hacking, following information is to be provided. Number one, soft copy as well as hard copy of the defaced web page. In case your website is defaced, if it is a website and it is defaced, a soft copy as well as a hard copy is to be provided. In case the data is compromised on your server or computer or any other network equipment, soft copy of original data and compromised data is to be required, is to be submitted. Access control mechanism details as to who had what kind of access to the compromised system. I mean, who was accessing the system which is said to be hacked. That information is to be disclosed. Then list of suspects, if any. If a complainant has a list of some suspects in the mind, the possible suspects or possible accused persons, it should be disclosed. Then the other thing which is very important for awareness program like this is do's and don'ts in cyber vulgar abuse. Cyber vulgar abuse is very common nowadays. So in that case, email abuse like vulgar emails, etc., the following information should be provided. If there is a vulgar abuse through email, you need to provide these informations. Extracts of the extended headers of offending email and soft copy as well as hard copy of the offending email. It has to be preserved because it will form a part of the evidence after the investigation. And I must make another point at this level, that there is a provision, section 78 in the IT Act, which says that no police officer below the rank of inspector will investigate a cyber crime. This is something very important because sometimes due to the paucity of human resource in the Department of Police, even assistant sub-inspectors go for making investigation in the crimes reported under other acts. But for cyber crime, nobody less than inspector will investigate these crimes. So that is an important thing. So you need to preserve all these. Don't delete the offending email from your email inbox. Save the copy of offending email on your computer's hard drive so that it may be later on produced before the authority which is investigating, and finally before the court of law, which will go for the trial of cyber crimes. Then there are certain facilities which have been accorded by the government, like National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal that I have mentioned, cyber crime forensic laboratories to be developed. This is very important. We have forensic laboratory for the other crimes, but for cyber crimes also a forensic laboratory is to come, and the process is already on, and it will be very soon take a very, very solid stand. Training programs are to be organized for police officers, for judges, for other agencies involved in controlling cyber crimes. Capacity building awareness. For this purpose, huge amount of $13.2 million has been already allocated, and research and development is to be focused in these efforts. CCPW's Awareness Creation Unit provides a well-defined citizen awareness program that is going on, and as a university, as a non-governmental organization, if somebody from that is connected with us, you all should try to take maximum benefit from these awareness programs and then disseminate the same in the university. This will go for a trickle-down effect, and obviously we'll be having very good results. And there is Ministry of Home Affairs has come up with a handbook on cyber safety for adolescents and students. This book is also very important, and it may be brought for the purposes of awareness in the library. And this is called as Cyber Safety for Adolescents and Student. That is that handbook. Then there is Twitter at CyberDost. This is another way in which cyber crimes could be reported, could be brought to the notice of the government. Then, of course, digital literacy is something very, very important, which should be focused. This is the last point that I wish to make. I'll be winding up in a few minutes. Digital literacy is very important. I'm reminded of the words of Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who once said that ignorance is bliss. But in this techno-advanced world, this has lost relevance. Ignorance is no more a bliss, because if we are ignorant, we'll be trapped into the technology where nefarious designs of criminals will take our peace of mind and will tread into a difficult zone. So we need to have awareness programs. We need to have a very well-designed awareness movement in our country. For this purpose, the scheme of 2013, the Government of India scheme, the national scheme, creating cyber awareness, talks of promoting and launching a comprehensive national awareness program on security of cyberspace, sustaining security literacy awareness and publicity campaign through electronic media to help citizens to be aware of the challenges of cyber security, and lastly, to conduct, support, and enable cybersecurity workshops, seminars, and certifications. This is how the digital literacy will be disseminated in our country. The last point which I wish to make, that we have allowed excessive materialism to enter our lives and our hearts and our minds. This excessive materialism and commercialization of society has deeply affected the moral fabric of our society. And this moral fabric is weakened to such an extent that we are swayed by cyber crimes or other crimes. Our children are swayed by the glittering effects of technology, and they sometimes even don't understand as to where they are actually moving, where they will carry the nation. They are the future of the nation, where they will carry the society they form part of. What they are doing, they sometimes don't reflect on that. What we need is, as educators, I'm addressing teachers who are a part of this program, that we have to again revisit these moral teachings that we used to give, that our forefathers used to give, that our teachers used to give. When they took a lecture, they were referring off and on to some moral story, some moral statements, some principles, and that was keeping us alive to the ethical values. I am reminded of the Socratic saying that I can give up my entire knowledge for establishing one moral principle, one ethical principle. And we all are aware of the fact that Socrates gave his life for the society he was working. He gave his life for the principles that he believed in. So let us evolve a society. Let us take a conjoint effort to evolve a society which is morally sound, which is so strong that it ultimately leads to a great nation that we have always been. Let us inspire our children not to take negative negative aspects of the technology, rather to make its positive use to the maximum extent. This is how we can achieve greatness, we can achieve the objectives we aspire for. I am thankful to Monad University for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to share my views with the people who have got on virtual platform in general. And I'm thankful to Mr. Suhail, Deputy Registrar in particular, and his wife, Dr. Soma, who is in fact in charge of this program and this cell, which is looking after the women's advances in the university. Thank you all for getting in touch with me through this virtual platform and giving me an opportunity. I'm thankful to Vice Chancellor in the end for organizing this kind of program. He needs to be congratulated. I congratulate him, and I'm thankful to one and all. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Valuable speech and information. Hello? Am I audible, ma'am? Okay. Thank you, sir, for your valuable speech and information. I personally like the two things you mentioned, sir. First is excessive materialism and the loss of ethical and moral values. Actually, we are overloaded with the technology. Actually, we are overloaded with the technology, and that's why the problem. Okay. I'm audible, ma'am. Okay. So, this mic is over to Monica, ma'am, for question answer session of our chief guest. Hello, Monica, ma'am. Monica, ma'am, it is over to you.
Hello. Yes. Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, ma'am. Audible.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Hello. Due to the disconnectivity, I have lost the questions, the chat box. Can you send the everyone send the questions in chat box again, please?
Okay.
Please share the questions again on the chat box. Due to the disconnectivity, we lost all the questions which is here on our chat box.
Can somebody tell me the question which is there in the chat box?
Yeah.
What is that which she is trying to ask?
Okay, so can she can direct communicate to you?
Yes, yes, of course.
Okay, okay.
You'll have to ask the question.
Okay, okay. So according to sir, everyone which is interested to ask the question, ask the question to sir, please. Please raise your hand.
Whosoever is asking,
sir,
unmute and speak out. Please unmute.
Sir,
yeah,
hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you so much for this informative talk. We learned a lot about cybercrime and the ways where we can report to and the various forms. And I just want to know that are there any applications which are developed or under consideration?
Hello.
Trap the person who is doing the cybercrime at our end. Can we inbuild some applications in the email or something where we can know the person who is doing the cyber crime? So this will reduce the time for the police. Yes.
In fact, this is something which is very technical in nature. That is why even the investigating officer is often not able to find out the materials on which he will have to proceed with the investigation. That is why they require certain materials to be produced while making a complaint, which I have already mentioned in the lecture. Those materials are to be provided. As far as tracking it on the computer, I am sorry, I am not a technical expert. So I am not able to tell you as to how we can find it out on the system that we are having. Since I belong to the field which is altogether different from the technical aspect of computer technology, I am not much aware of that aspect as to how we can find it on the computer. What we need is to provide materials to the police and to the courts so that they can move ahead with that.
Yeah, I'm much thankful that police is making new laws for handling this very efficiently.
Yes, that is to be appreciated. That is to be certainly appreciated, and the efforts of police officers are to be appreciated. The mechanism with which they proceed, it was very meticulous mechanism. Half of it or more than half of it I have forgotten. But when he was telling me, I just realized that the mechanism which they are adopting is meticulously designed. So gradually they are learning. Sometimes they cannot perceive the technical aspect because they are also not experts in that. Training is being provided to them. Training is being provided to judges also. There are certain programs relating to cyber crimes in Delhi, in the Institute of Criminology and Forensic Science, that is there in Delhi. So in Rohini perhaps. So that is also imparting education on this. Let us hope that we are able to control it more effectively in times to come.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Sir, ma'am, you have another question?
Yes.
Hello.
My other question was just related to the videos which go viral and cause a problem in society. Can we just have a law which should say that before sending any material on the internet, the content be checked and it should be put in the green zone or red zone before it is transmitted, so that the
yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I have got it. In fact, the work is already on this. Ministry of Home Affairs as well as Ministry of Information and Communications Technology is looking into this, and very soon perhaps you'll be getting a mechanism, because this is not an easy. The problem with the cyberspace is that it is almost limitless zone, where it is very difficult to find out a territorial marking. In fact, in otherwise the laws which we have a territorial zone. Even in the application of law, we have a territory on which it could be applied, like we call it as territorial jurisdiction in international law. But for cyberspace, there is hardly any territorial, circumstancing, and therefore it is becoming very difficult. But still, the work is on, and this is a very good point which you have raised. Perhaps very soon we'll be having this kind of thing: red mark, green mark, yellow mark. And that will perhaps give us a better way to proceed on virtual platform, on the digital technology.
Hello.
Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome. Yes, please.
Sir, one of the other question of the participants: what are the major role of taking step Indian government latest changes against cyber crime to protect them women and girls?
Could you please repeat?
Yeah. What are major role of taking step Indian government latest changes against cyber crime to protect them, women and girls?
Latest steps, yes.
Yes,
I have
sir.
already mentioned a number of
Yeah,
steps
definitely, yes, sir.
which the government of India has taken. And the most important thing which we require, as teachers, as academicians, as judges, we have to disseminate the information relating to this field as much as we can. And the work is on in the same lines on which this National Legal Services Authority of India came into being, and State Legal Services Authority of India came into being, which are now imparting legal awareness about about the legal options which are available to litigants, to common men. In the same manner, maybe in times to come, we'll be able to have a very solid platform which will be disseminating information and knowledge about protection against the cyber crimes. Very soon. It is going on.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, one of the more questions regarding the cybercrime, cheating to the women in matrimony site. People are cheating in regarding marriage. So is there any solution that they can escape from cheating?
Yes, they can go for traditional offense contained in the Indian Penal Code. That is very much applicable relating to cheating. And then secondly, this IT Act also involves a provision under Chapter 11, which I have mentioned, where activities in the kind of cheating, either relating to matrimonial affairs or otherwise, may be taken care of. Chapter 11 will help out as far as digital technology is concerned, IT Act is concerned.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, other lots of questions are here, but due to our guest of honor also waiting for the in queue also, that's why.
Some of the questions you should save for guest of honor, and that is how you can manage things, and we can have a wonderful session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Now over to Sorbi, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Once again, welcome you all in the webinar. It's an honor for me to introduce and welcome today's guest of honor and second speaker, Dr. Preeti Mishra. She is a renowned name in her own field who needs no introduction. She is postgraduate in economics and LLM from Lucknow University. She was awarded LLD in law from Lucknow University. She is specialized in criminal law, women law, and human rights law. At present, she is head of the Department of Human Rights, School of Legal Studies, Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar University. She has nearly 20 years of experience in university and college teaching. She had published nearly 129 research articles and several books on various aspects of human rights on various social, cultural, and developmental issues. She has presented nearly 100 papers in different national and international journals. Today, we are privileged to have her in our webinar and get benefited from her expertise. So, from the behalf of the whole Monarch fraternity, once again, I welcome you, ma'am. The mic is over to you, Preeti ma'am. Preeti ma'am, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, welcome.
First of all, I would like to thank organizers for inviting me to this very special topic, which is close to my heart, that is crime against women. Now, today's topic is cyber crime against women, which is somewhat new to me because I have not yet ventured into this domain of law which relates to cyber crime. But now I have tried to understand in this way by having this lecture for today's program. So first of all, I would like to thank the organizers. And I was listening to today's chief guest, Dr. Humayun Rashid Khan ji, Director JTRI, and half of my work has already been done because he has also talked about the laws as well as about the first-hand tips for lodging the complaints whenever the cyber crime is happening. So half of my work is done, and now I would look at what has been left for me to say on this particular topic. So what area he has not covered that I would like to touch upon. So let me begin my presentation first. So we all know that as told by sir also that during this COVID period, there has been an enhanced in the crime against women, and that too in the cyber crime against women also. And you must all be very much aware of the case that was a boys' locker room case, where a 15-year boy was identified by the Delhi police because he belongs to a group called Boys Locker Group, where they used to share obscene messages, morphed pictures of minor girls, and used to pass lewd comments. And they were even going to the extent of planning the gang rape. So that kind of serious things have happened during this lockdown period. As sir has rightly pointed out that an empty mind is the devil's workshop. तो जब करने को कुछ नहीं है तो कुछ ना कुछ खुराफात जो है वो दिमाग में आती है. And since there is so much technological advancement and we are having gadgets all the time in our hands, and parents are also under pressure to provide these gadgets to their children, because we all know that these times the online education is going on and every child need to have some kind of gadget to connect with the classes that are being offered by the universities and the colleges. So technology has some plus point as well as some negative points also. So during this period when there was nothing to do for the children, because sometimes the classes were suspended, almost there were no classes at all. So the child were indulging in such kinds of activities. And not only the minor persons are indulging in such kinds of activities, but the adult persons are also doing the same. So there are some people who are of the pedophilia character. They enjoy talking about sex, or they like sharing these kinds of pornographic material on the internet. So we all are very much aware about the term, the cyber crime, what it is and how it happens. So we need not go into the detail, and moreover, we are not technical experts. So like the question was being asked, so we are not technical experts. We can't say that how it happens and how we can prevent. But certainly, as sir also told, that there are some do's and don'ts that we can have at our hand to avoid such kinds of mishappening with us. So this boys locker room happened in May 2020 itself, and cybercrime police has seized mobile phones and other devices of these boys, and these boys are both minors and adults, as I told you. And but we need to understand that howsoever young they may be, but they should understand that it is not okay to harass the girls. The message should be delivered clearly one for all, that it is a very, very bad thing, and the technology should not be used in such a negative way. So when I was going through the literature, I found that in 2004 itself, a case was reported in Tamil Nadu by the Tamil Nadu police, where a person was sending defamatory messages about a divorced woman in the Yahoo message group. And he also advertised her as a solicit for sex. So this happens a lot of times, because I have also talked to so many women in this regard, and they have told that how their boyfriends and even their husbands are using it for this very purpose. So far as the relations are good, everything is okay. But when the relations get sourced, then these kinds of things happen. So they misuse the pictures which have been taken during the intimate time which they spend together, and then by floating it or making it viral, they exploit the women. Not only emotionally exploit them, mentally exploit them, but also, like sir told, that there is some kind of extortion also there. They try to extort money by posting these kinds of pictures, or by pressurizing them that if you don't do this, we will post these pictures on the website. So these kinds of things are not new. As soon as the computer is started in India and the emails started being sent in other groups, things have started, but we were not much aware about it. Because now the things have become very, very common, and everybody is having the gadgets in her own hands. So now these are more manifest in the society, that how this cyber crime are happening. And moreover, we are also aware these days that, and because of this awareness also, and because of so much digital literacy is there, because of which we know that these kind of things are happening. And very recently, last week only, we had this case of Chitrakoot, a multiple child abuse case, where a junior engineer, such a educated person who is an engineer working in an engineering department, he was using the porn videos of the children and was selling it on the dark web. So, and it has been found by the police that and the pictures which have been taken, these are very, very professional in nature, and it cannot be done by a person who is of a common ordinary mind. So these things are happening. Not only the minor children are involved in soliciting the women for the sexual purpose or posting their pornographic material on the website, even the adult person, the educated person, those who are holding responsible positions in the society, it is very, very lamenting that they are indulging in such kinds of activities. And sir told about the various data about the cyber crime against women. The Akansha Foundation is there, the Peace Foundation is there, then our very own NCRB, National Crime Record Bureau is also there, which floats data every year regarding the crime against women. And from 2013 onwards, it has started segregating the crime against women, and it is now reporting the crime where the women are being exposed to sexual exploitation. And if you go by this data of 2018 and 19, we find that the cybercrime has registered a jump from 2018 to 2019. It was 60.4% in 2018, but in 2019 it is 63.5%. And out of this, the cases which are of the sexual exploitation, they have registered an increase of 5.1%. It means near about, as per the data provided, 2,266 cases, near about 2,250 cases have been reported in 2019 itself. So it is such a sordid affairs of fact of present society where this digitization has led to these kinds of crimes in our society. So we all know that every coin has got two sides. One is positive side and another one is the negative side. Though the technology has helped us a lot in our daily life, it has not only helped our economy, our education, our governance, but on the other hand, it has brought cybercrime also in India at large number. So far as today's presentation is concerned, here I will be talking about the laws which have been left by Dr. Khan, and about the intervention measures, though he has also talked about it, that what has been the initiative by the NCW and what is the initiative by the government of India. But whatever is left for me, I would like to talk about that. So we all know that cybercrime is a global phenomena, and it is not peculiar to India. It extends everywhere. Last day I was listening to a news program, and there also in Western society, whether it is UK or USA, there also a lot of cybercrime happens against women because they are too much tech savvy. But the only difference is there that their procedure is they get justice easily, and because the education level is also high, so the reporting is also very, very high. And in India, what happens that even if a woman wants to come out that the certain things are happening with her and she wants to report, then she doesn't get the support, neither from her family members, nor from the colleagues, or from the near ones to report these kinds of cases. So that's why we have more serious problems here, because sometimes the women are themselves put into a negative picture, that why they were indulging in such kinds of activities, why they were so much active on the internet, why they were so much active on the social media, why they are posting their photographs and the things that where they are going and how they are spending times with others. So ultimately what happens that as a criminologist, when we try to understand that why this crime is happening against women, and not only in the physical world, but in the cyber world also, then the causes are not very much different. Because our society is still a patriarchal society where women are still given a second-rate citizenship. They are still given a second-rate treatment in the society. Even if a woman is working, it is thought that she is working for herself only, just for her pleasures or for bringing the amenities into her life. And nobody thinks about that way, that she can also be supportive to her family. So the working women are also looked upon in a very, very different way in our society. So not only the crime is happening with the women who are living inside the house, but it is also happening with the women who are working outside. It means with the working women also. And the facts are the same, because our society is such kind of society where many pedophilic character people are there, they enjoy these kinds of things and indulging. Whenever two boys are there, or a group of boys gang is there, or some girls are passing nearby, they must be passing a lewd remarks. So that is a kind of psyche which is prevalent in our society, and we are not getting rid of it. Though our education level is increasing, the women are being empowered, they are coming into services, they are having a high position in their life, but still the psyche of men, or the mind of men, is not changing towards women. So that is a problem. And then there's a problem of reporting also, because of which a woman doesn't feel like reporting the crime. And if we talk about the types of cyber crime that are happening in this cyber world or digital world or on the internet, and as has been told by the previous speaker also, that this harassment can take place through the emails. And as I told you, that it is not a new concept. As soon as the internet came and the email etc. started, and the harassment started through emails, because harassing emails are sent if one wants to have some kind of relationship with a woman, and a woman is not surrendering, then these kinds of lewd remarks are sent on the emails also. And not only it is harassment, there may be blackmailing also, there may be bullying. And because of this harassment, what happens that this harassment which is happening on the digital world, it is also transformed into physical world, because the harassment is there on the internet, then a woman is forced to come and meet in the physical world, and there again she is being harassed. So it is not only that this thing is happening only in the cyber world, but the manifestations of these crimes, these cyber crimes, are also visible in the physical world also. Then there is cyber stalking, and the cyber stalking is so much on the rise. And initially it was not recognized as a crime in our society, because eve teasing, which has very much existed in our society from the time immemorial, it was never been taken as a serious topic of discussion. I remembered when I was doing my LLM in 90s, in 1996, I wrote my first paper on eve teasing only. And I found that under the IPC, that time also in 1980s also some kinds of eve teasing cases were reported. And the courts have come out with positive remarks that such kind of thing does not happen. And like a woman is going on a rickshaw and someone is stalking her. And we also remember that when we used to go to the university for the purpose of having our education, and we used to go to the university on foot. So there's someone used to follow us to the university. So that kind of stalking used to take place, but it was never taken as a serious affair. But only after the 2013, when the Criminal Law Amendment Act came, this has been recognized as a cyber stalking as a serious crime. And women, and mainly the young age women, are the most soft target for the cyber stalking. And it is used for the purpose of online harassment and online abuses. Then there may be email spoofing. It refers to an email that emerges from one source, but has been sent from another source. It means I have personally noticed that a person used to have so many emails in his or her name. And some of the emails one is using for the official purposes, some for personal purposes, and some emails are being used for harassing the other women. Because, and that is because of the technology only. Because the internet allows to have so many emails in one name. So that has also been a cause of concern for the lawmakers, because there is no check on it. And since the server is not placed in India, it is outside India or in some foreign country, so it becomes very difficult to access from which mail this mail has been sent. So I personally feel that there should be some kind of check on this email generation, that one should not have more than 2 or more than 3. There must be a check on the number of emails that a person can have. And there's a problem that in anonymous name also so many emails are created, and such kinds of harassment materials are sent for the purpose of harassing the women, or for subjecting to harassment or the exploitation. Then there comes the defamation. So this cyber defamation is also very, very common. It involves publishing defamatory information about the person on a website, or circulating it among the victims, friends, circles, or organization. So if you have shared your email ID with some other person also, and he is in contact with that person, they used to share these kinds of email with each other. So some kind of group harassing starts, like in boys locker room happened, that though it was though the investigation revealed otherwise, that it was started because the girl wanted to check the gender sensitivity in male, and she being an imposter, being showing that she is a male, and she had sent that particular message. So these may be the things, but the defamation happens in that way, because we are sharing our email information with others and with unknown persons also. Then it is mostly committed by hacking someone's ID on Facebook, Google, or any other social networking site or the mailing website. And it is also committed by creating fake profile of a person containing all personal information. Like yesterday, I received a message from one of my colleagues that someone has hacked her family pictures, her pictures of the near relations and other phone numbers, and they have created an imaginary email ID on the Facebook. So though he is not there or she is not there, but someone else is extracting the information from her profile page and using it for the purpose of extortion, exploitation, or harassment, or for the purpose of defamation. So on the cybercrime, as it is a limitless world, there is no control on it. So any kind of things may happen anywhere. And then comes very, very serious issue of morphing. And I remember the days when the Pooja Bhatt's picture was floated in newspapers, where the body double was used. The face of Pooja Bhatt was there, but the body of someone else was there. So morphing used to happen even in those times also, when this online things were not there. So this morphing is an activity to edit the original picture, to misuse it. And the the perpetrators do, they download the women picture from social media, WhatsApp, or because this is a very, very point, we need address, because anybody can download your photograph from your WhatsApp profile, or though on the Facebook there is some kind of profile lock that you can lock your picture, but in WhatsApp this facility is not available. So if you are posting your picture as a profile on the WhatsApp, then somebody downloads that picture from there, and then morphing is done just to exploit the woman or to commit some kind of crime. So these kinds of things are there on the internet and on the social media site, and for which we need to be very, very cautious. And then comes the very, very serious issue of cyber pornography relating to this morphing of photographs. And it is the most dangerous things which is happening to female netizens. And this includes pornographic websites or pornographic magazines produced using computers to publish and print the material, and the internet. What happens, they download and transmit the pornographic pictures, photos, writing, etc. And they create a profile for you, and then they post it on the dark web. And dark web is a thing which is used for all these purposes only. So this cyber pornography is very, very serious matter. As the Vice Chancellor of your university was also telling, that almost 50% of the websites contain pornographic material on the internet. And so this is another threat to women and children, because this includes publishing pornographic materials in pornographic websites by using computers and internet. Like this has happened in the junior engineer case of Chitrakoot. So it is very, very dangerous to a woman's integrity, as cyber criminals use photos of women and fix them with nude photographs or videos, and photographs or videos resemble to that women only. Then there comes the offense of phishing and trolling. Phishing is the attempt to gain the sensitive information such as username and the password, and when gets the username and the password, then it is used for the illicit purposes. And then trolling is also there. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yes, you are.
Oh, I thought the connection is lost. Okay, no problem.
No, ma'am, you are audible.
Let's continue, ma'am.
Okay. Then there is trolling. Trolling spreads conflict on the internet. Criminal starts quarreling or upsetting victim by posting inflammatory or off-topic messages in an online community, such as the news group, forum, chat, room, blog, with the intention to provoke victims into an emotional or the upsetting response. So these kinds of crimes are happening in the cyber world, which is very, very serious issue. Not only the crime is increasing in the physical world in the name of cruelty, in the name of dowry, in the name of female feticide, infanticide, so many types of violence are there. Sometimes it becomes very, very pathetic even to think about it and to talk about such things on the lectures. And some time back, I refuse some of the lectures because we are giving the lectures, we are trying to make the society sensitive, but the society is not changing at all. So sometimes we do feel disheartened or feel depressed that so many laws are there, so many case laws are coming, but still the things are not changing. Why the women are seen in such a black light? That is a problem of our society, and basically the psyche of the male that is not changing, even having so much education and the technology in hand. And what have been the reasons for this growth? So not only the patriarchal structure of our society is responsible, but basically so far as the cyber crime is concerned, the transcendental nature of the internet, because there are no boundaries. And that's why this crime is much more common and much more serious. And then there is low equipment cost. Once you have brought a laptop or a phone, then no other gadget is required. So you don't need to have many kinds of weapons at your hand to commit the crime. Just by the use of your fingers, you can commit crime of any sort. So it is a very, very low equipment cost crime which can be committed. And then there are numerous vulnerable targets. Not only the women are there, not only the female who are of young age, who are more vulnerable, but they are in the working area also, like the female students and staff who are living away from the family for work. They are also being subjected to such kinds of harassment. So the most trusted gadget, their mobile, their computers, it becomes the harasser at one point of time. And since everybody not so much techno savvy, though we are educated person, we are teaching law, judges are there, but concealment is very much possible because of the anonymity existing on the internet, because nobody knows who is there behind the curtain or behind the computer screen or behind the mobile screen. We do not know who is there. So it becomes very easy for a person, because of the anonymous character of the offender, to commit these kind of crimes in the cyber world. And then these cyber crimes remain unreported because of the hesitation also and shyness of the victim, and because of the fear of the defamation or the family's name. Because sometimes if a woman feels that she should go and report this crime, but the family pressure is there not to do so, because the family's honor will be at stake. So because of this very peculiar social structure of our society also, the crime against women is growing in our society, and we don't see any end to it. And what is the risk that is faced by women over the internet? There are so many. There is violation of their body privacy, there is online harassment, cyber stalking, exposure to online fraudsters, even so much online shopping is there. And because of online shopping also, so much information is being shared with unknown persons. And like we have heard about the pizza delivery boy case also, that kind of things are also happening in the society. Harassment of a woman can take place anywhere in any way, and there is no limit to it. And by this, the women are portrayed in the most indecent manner. And the workplace harassment has also increased with the digital age. Because of the free access to internet, there has been increase in the cyber crimes. Hello.
Hello, ma'am. You're audible, ma'am.
Oh.
Yes, you are audible, ma'am.
I think that at my level, some kind of network issue is there.
Oh, no, you are absolutely clear. Your voice is very clear.
Okay, okay.
No problem, ma'am.
So we have
Okay, ma'am.
discussed what is the cyber crime, what are the reasons for it, and how the women can be put at stake to various kinds of vulnerabilities in our society due to cyber world. But sir has already talked about the IT law in detail, so I will not be going into the IT law, because sir has also already discussed section 66E and 67A and B, etc. So I will not be dwelling upon the IT Act. Rather, I would like to talk about the IPC sections, which are also there relating to the sexual harassment. Because whatever is happening in the physical world, that has an effect on the cyber world, and whatever is happening in the cyber world has the manifestation in the physical world also. So far as the sexual harassment is concerned, because this webinar is being organized by the Women Grievance Cell, and I know that not only the law persons are there, but other faculties and students are also there. So they also need to understand what is the meaning of sexual harassment. Because sometimes what happens that we are so ignorant, we indulge into an act and we do not know that it is an offense, and for which some kind of punishment can be there. And the upbringing in our society is such, where the male are brought up in such a way, they think that's a chalta hai kind of attitude. They can say anything to anybody, and it is not going to offend anyone. But they don't understand that it is a crime defined somewhere in the statute. So it is very, very important to know the laws defining the crime. Because of the ignorance also, so many things happen. And basically with the juveniles, where they are taking the sexual pleasures or posting the pornographic material, because they do not know that it is a crime. Just like a play, they are doing something. And sometimes what happens, that inadvertently also some kinds of messages are sent, where one is very, very innocent also. So if it has been done in that way, then there can be exceptions. But otherwise, one must know what are the laws relating to sexual harassment of women, how it happens, and what are the punishment for it. Because it may cause a kind of deterrent effect on the psyche of the future offenders or the potential minds who may commit crime in future. So sexual harassment was not defined before Vishakha's case of 1997. And Vishakha's case came in 1997, and Supreme Court laid down beautiful guidelines for safeguarding the women's right to work in a dignified way. And later on, after this happening of the Nirbhaya case in 2013, major overhaul was done in the criminal laws, and some new crimes were defined under the Indian Penal Code. So section 354A, which was newly added, it defines what is the meaning of sexual harassment. So here nothing different, whatever has been said in the Vishakha's case, that definition has been put into this section only, that it may be a physical contact and advances involving unwelcome and explicit sexual overtures, or a demand or request for sexual favors, or showing pornography against the will of a woman. So far as the showing of pornography is concerned, it may happen in the physical way, or it may happen online also, on the internet also. So I think whatever is defined in the IPC does not mean that on this basis, the cases cannot be brought for the cyber crimes. One can eloquently apply these sections for lodging the cases of cyber crimes also. So if the pornographic material is being shown against the will of a woman, or some kind of sexually colored remarks are being made, then the person who are indulging in such kinds of activities will be guilty of the offense of sexual harassment. And it is a very, very serious kind of harassment. And for the offenses, so far as the physical contact is there, or request for sexual favor is there, or showing of the pornographic material is there, for which the punishment can extend to up to 3 years. It means it is a cognizable crime. It is non-compoundable and triable by a magistrate. It is a kind of a serious crime. But so far as the making of sexually colored remarks is concerned, for this, the punishment extends only to 1 year. So it is not so serious crime is still taken, though it may become serious in future, because everything starts from a single act. If the single act of voyeurism, or if a single act of harassment is not stopped, that it may lead to a number of cases. Then comes section 354 clause C, which talks about voyeurism. Voyeurism has been defined first time in the IPC. And when a woman is indulging into a private act and she feels that nobody can watch her there, and if those intimate things are captured on a mobile or some kind of photograph is taken of that private moments that into which she is indulging, and if it is made public, if it's sent on the social media also, then it becomes a very, very serious crime for which the stringent punishments are there. So section not only makes punishable voyeurism, that is taking the photograph of a woman who is indulging in some kind of private activities where she may be with or without clothes, and maybe with the intimate partner, or maybe in the alone also. So if those kinds of private moments are captured and made public, so that becomes a crime. And for this, the punishment is maximum up to the 3 years if it is committed for the first time, but the punishment enhances if the offense has been repeated or if it has been committed another time also. So there it may extend to 7 years. So it means a very, very grave offense because the punishment extends from 3 years to 7 years. And explanation 2 is very, very important of this section, which says that even if a victim has given consent to capture the image or any act, but not to their dissemination to the third person, and where such image or act is disseminated, such dissemination shall be considered an offense under this section. So what happens when there are two close friends are there, boyfriend and girlfriend are there, or even in some cases the husband and wife are also there, where the woman has consented to the taking of the pictures of intimate moments, but she has only given consent for the taking of moment because she has been fraudulently induced that he loves you so much and you should believe that he will not use it for any other purpose. So he is taking these kinds of nude photographs also, but then committing the breach of trust and making it public. So it does not matter that a woman has given the consent, so the case cannot be brought against the offender. It can be, because though the woman has given consent in the good faith, but not for the purpose of the breach of trust and not for the purpose of disseminating it to the third persons. So there also, even if these kinds of voyeurism has happened with the consent of the women, it can be made a crime if the things have been disseminated to the third parties. Then I already talked about the stalking that had been defined under section 354D. But the beautiful thing about the section 354D is that it also talks about that stalking may happen on the internet, by email, or by any other form of electronic communication. And here also the crime has been divided into two parts, because sometimes what happens inadvertently out of negligence or just out of a curiosity or just under the peer pressure, one indulges into stalking. So far as the first offense is concerned, for that a milder punishment is there, but that is not mild too. That may extend to up to 3 years. But if this stalking does not stop, and if in spite of being given a clear signal by the woman that she is not interested, still the stalking happens, then the punishment may extend to 5 years. So these are the crimes which have been defined in the IPC, and these things may happen in the cyber world also. Harassment can be there, stalking can be there, voyeurism can also be there in the cyber world. And then there is Indecent Representation of Women Prohibition Act 1986. Section 4 of it talks about the prohibition of publication or sending by post of books, pamphlet, etc. containing indecent representation of women. So far as sending by post is concerned, this post may be by email or it may be by post office also. So if a woman is being indecently represented online, that may also form a crime under section 4 of the Indecent Representation Act 1986. Then very, very important legislation is there for the protection of children from sexual offenses. We are talking about cyber crime against women. But what is the definition of woman? A woman of any age. Because Domestic Violence Act or other acts say that woman means woman of any age. So this particular act, which has been devised for the purpose of protecting the children from the sexual offenses, can also be utilized for the purpose of reporting of the cases under the cybercrime. And recently, in 2019, amendments have been done in this POCSO Act also, and the child pornography has been defined. Now a new section has been added in the definition clause. After section 2D, a new clause, section 2DA has been added, which defines the child pornography. Because we all know that a child, after women, the children are the most soft targets. And not only the girl child, but male child are also being sexually harassed. So far as there's a junior engineer case is concerned, so not only the male childs are there, but girl childs are also there whose pornographic picturization is being transmitted on the dark web. So for the first time in 2019, the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act, that we know as POCSO, defines what is the meaning of child pornography. It means any visual depiction of sexually explicit conduct involving a child, which include photograph, video, digital or computer generated image, and indistinguishable from an actual child, an image created, adapted or modified, but appear to depict a child. So by using the technology, a lot of morphing is done, a lot of artificial material is generated for the purpose of the exploitation of women and children. And this section defines the offenses of use of child for pornographic purpose. It provides that whoever uses a child in any form of media, including program, advertisement, telecast by television channels or internet, or any other electronic form or printed form, whether or not such program or advertisement is intended for the personal use or for distribution. And if it is being for the purpose of sexual gratification, which includes representation of the sexual organs of a child, uses of a child engaged in real or simulated sexual acts without penetration, the indecent or obscene representation of a child shall be guilty of the offense of using a child for the pornographic purpose. So a very, very wide and extensive definition of child pornography has been included by the Amendment Act of 2019. And this act further clarifies that for the purpose of this section, the expression use of child shall include involving a child through any medium, like print, electronic, computer, or any other technology for preparation, production, offering, transmitting, publishing, felicitation, and distribution of the pornographic material. And so far as punishment is concerned, this punishment sections has also been replaced. Now section 14 and 15, which existed in the Act of 2012, has now been substituted with new acts of section 14 and 15, where harsher punishments have been given, where the child is being used for the purpose of pornographic purposes. So far as punishment for child being used pornographic purpose is concerned, the punishment shall not be less than 5 years. If the first time the offense has been committed, the punishment is not less than 5 years. But if it is committed subsequently second time, then it may be not less than 7 years. And then if the pornographic material is being stored involving a child, it does not matter whether it is being used, it is being made viral or not. If it is being stored only, that is also punishable. And if a person is having the storage of this kind of pornographic material and has not destroyed it or has not deleted it from his or her computer or from the mobile, then he or she may be indicted to punishment. So it is very, very important to know that what kind of material you can have in your mobile and in your computers also, because the storage of these things also may involve the punishment. So it is not necessary that you are using these kinds of material for the purpose of public use. But if you are storing it for your own purpose, for your own sexual gratification, that can also be a crime. So that way this act is very, very important, and these provisions are of very much concern for the young minds also, because they need to know what kinds of material they should have on their mobile, on their computers, and what kind of things they should indulge into or not to indulge into. So we have talked about the offenses which have been defined not only in the IT Act, in the POCSO Act, in the IPC also, and in Indecent Representation of Women Prohibition Act 1986. But what is the problem? Problem of reporting, because what happens, major types of cybercrime which are prevailing on the internet, they have not been defined. Even though the IT Act is there, but what is the cyber stalking, what is bullying, what is trolling, what is phishing, morphing, these have not been defined in the exact terms. So for that, the liability cannot be fixed. So major problem is that of definition, or giving it a perspective, that what is the meaning of these crimes. Then the second problem is that of there is no standard operating procedure dealing with the issues of cyber crime. Even about the police personnel are not so tech savvy, their training is going on, though the cyber cells have opened, the cyber police stations are there, but the people who are working there are some persons who don't feel like getting into technology. They want to go for the digital education. उनको लगता है कि whatever they know, that is sufficient, and that will help them in passing their job. But it is not so. One should be open to learning to new things. So another problem is with the cybercrime is that there is no standard operating procedure. And then lack of officers in cyber cells in another major problem, as I told you. Then international cooperation is also not there, because we all know that the server is not placed in the country where the offense is being committed. And so it becomes very, very difficult to nab the criminals. And if a case of cybercrime involves another country, then procedure gets more lengthy and several regulations are to be followed, whether some kind of treaty is there or not there with the other country. So then becomes another kind of problem. Then these foreign service providers are also not very cooperative during the investigation because of the certain cross-border legal issues. Because if the offender is sitting in a hostile country with which the terms of a country is not good, then surely that country is not going to help. So because of this non-cooperative character of international relations or international officials, it becomes very, very difficult to crack these cyber crimes. Then if a woman thinks that she should go to report the crime, the procedure is very, very cumbersome. Then a woman feels that why she went out and reported the crime. So we कहते हैं ना कि हमें we should be away from the courts, or we should be away from the police personnel. We should not invite the dangers by reporting the crime to the officials, because the things are not going to be sorted out in a speedy way. It will linger on for years and years, because we have seen what has happened in many of the cases. The things are still lingering. And so far as the sensitiveness in the officials is also not there. One should not mind whether it is the judiciary or it is the police personnel. They are not very, very sensitive to the idea of the crime against women. And sometimes the victim blaming is there, that why the woman was out on the social networking site, because she has invited the danger herself. So she should meet the things herself. So nobody comes to help her also. Even the near and dear ones who are with her all the time, even they do not come to her support. So because of the lack of the familial support, because of this cumbersome process, and because of the lack of technical knowledge, because we do not know whether if anything has happened, whether it comes under the category of crime or not, whether it is defined as an offense or not, whether there is some kind of punishment for it or not. So we do not know whether it should be reported as the crime. So that becomes a very, very problem. Then women are not also very tech savvy. We are very literate person, we are doctorates, we are teaching the universities, but so far as the privacy setting is concerned on our internet, we are not very, very much bothered about it. We do not pay heed to putting firewalls to our routers. So sometimes we are too negligent and this crime happens because of our technological ignorance. So that kinds of things are there. because of which the problem of cybercrime has increased to manifold in our society. Now, what are the different initiatives taken by the authorities? So far as Sir has already told that NCW has issued certain kind of guidelines, and they have given the WhatsApp number also special during the COVID period. But besides that, this National Commission of Women is working to strengthen the capacity of the women to use the technology-based tools to defend themselves. And for this very purpose, the NCW has partnered. They have entered into a partnership with Facebook and the Cyber Peace Foundation, and they are running a digital literacy program. And the aim of this program is to make the young girls and women aware of their digital rights and enable them to become safe and informed users. And by giving this kind of knowledge, they want to help women to follow healthy online practices, recognize and manage online risk. Like this problem, when this program started, there was so much nuisance because we don't have internet etiquettes, how to behave on the online. So that kind of training is also very, very much required when we are coming on the public platform, on the online platform, then how we need to behave on the cyberspace. So for that purpose, the training is required, and it is very, very laudable that NCW has taken this initiative to provide technology tools to capacitate the women. And the first phase of training has already started, and many of the states like Delhi, Haryana, Maharashtra, in these states, the training has been done. And in Lucknow also, in UP Lucknow also, this program has started with a digital campaign. And very recently, the NCW has initiated a pilot project on gender sensitization and legal awareness. And for that purpose, they have collaborated with the Kendriya Vidyalayas. And basically, they have started with the Delhi region, and where they aim to inspire the students of class 11 and 12 to work together to achieve the gender equality and justice. So a kind of gender sensitiveness is also being created by the National Commission of Women. And they're also continuing with their program of Each One and Teach One. Like these workshops, these seminars and webinars, these are also helping each one of us to learn something, and not only to learn, but also to teach something. Because for the purpose of teaching, it very much required that first we learn. So if I had to give a lecture on cybercrime, then first I need to learn what is cybercrime, how it happens, what are the types of it, what are the provisions are there, how I can deal with it. And then I can teach others. So this teaching and learning is a simultaneous process, and it must be promoted in the society in the big way. And for this very purpose, the students of the universities can be involved. And it is very, very good thing that these webinars are happening, and these kinds of digital literacy is being spread to sensitize our young minds that they should not indulge in such kinds of activities which may somewhat may force them to land up in some kind of trouble by committing some kind of crime. So besides this, NCW, the Ministry of Home Affairs has also taken a very, very good initiative. Like Sir has told, that they have started their online platform, Crime and Criminal Tracking Network System project. And by this project, a cyber victim can file a complaint, and the portal will then provide a central repository to identify the cybercrime. So though the cyber repository has been generated, and the information is there of the offenders, of the criminals, but presently it is being shared with only the officials only, and it is not made public. And presently in UP, the Yogi government has started an initiative that put the photograph of these offenders who are indulging in the sexual crime or any kind of crime against women, and their posters should be put up at the public places. So a kind of social defaming should be done in order to show the crime against women. So that kind of initiative is being taken by the at the level of the government also. And so far as this Ministry of Home Affairs is concerned, it is doing really a very, very good job. And recently in January itself in 2020, a very aspirational project was launched, I4C. I4C means Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center. And this center has been established, the Cyber and Information Security Division, and it will implement National Intelligence Grid and National Information Security Policy. And it has been told by the Council also that the Ministry of Home Affairs has launched online reporting portal also, that is cybercrime.government.in. I am just being repetitive here because these things must be known by the persons who are attending this webinar, because these informations are very, very important. So though the initiative is being taken by the National Commission of Women, by the different states, by the central government, but what we can do at our own level to shun these kinds of crime, or not to invite the danger for ourselves. So there are various kinds of do's and don'ts which we should adopt ourselves. So there is an urgent need to bring awareness and consciousness among women to be very careful when they use internet facilities. And also proper guidance is required for this very purpose when they face the cybercrime, and they must raise a voice against this. Because if a crime is not reported, it means somewhere we are leading to more crimes. Because in criminal law, we study in the very first semester that अपराध करने से ज़्यादा बुरा है अपराध को सहना. Because if we are tolerating crime, it means somewhere we are promoting the crime. Because it is also well said that if we do not offend the crime, then the crime offends us. So that way it is very, very important that if any kind of crime is being committed, then it must be reported. And there is also an alarming requirement for the knowledge and technical enhancement for prevention of women harassment. And for this massive awareness program is required regarding how to make safe use of mobile phones, computers, and internet. So here I have made some list of some do's and don'ts, because prevention is always better than cure. So if something happens and we are exposed to many kinds of indignities and problems, so it's better that we adopt such kinds of measures that we do not fall trapped to these kinds of things. So prevention is always better than cure. So for this, my advice is that don't ever put too much personal details on Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, or other social networking sites, because it may be misused. And always try to make, I'm just winding up the things, always make two kinds of online presence: a professional presence for your colleagues and clients, and a private presence which is meant for the socialization purpose. And the presence should be with some online identity that consists of a dummy profile photo and details. So you need not put off your own profile photo or your personal details. You may make a dummy profile of it so that it may not be misused. And then you should not reveal the identity of your near and dear ones, or of your personal taste, or of your diseases that you are suffering from, because what will happen, they will profile you and segregate you for targeting you for the cyber crimes. Then the personal memoirs like snaps where you are partying, where you have gone for the holiday, these kinds of things also should not be posted on this social networking site, because it helps the others to profile you. Then you should ensure that your private moments or your bedroom pictures are not on your computers, which are hooked to the internet, and especially on computer where you are downloading torrents. While in hotel or in changing rooms of mall, and it has been on the, there are so many YouTube hacks also, that how to check for a two-way mirror, that if you are going to a trial room that you are not being picturized, your photo is not being taken. So there are hacks available by way you can know that whether a video camera has been installed there or not. So that kind of precautions you can take, and you should also ensure that your webcam or the computer is plugged out when you are not using it. And your mobile phone with camera should be kept in a reverse direction. So sometimes what happens that some button, because these days that this very finger savvy mobiles are there, the touch screens are there. So inadvertently you touch something and something goes out of your hands, and sometimes you'll end up in trouble. So always you should put it in reverse direction. Then all the data that can be, because one should be very much aware of the fact that the data can be retrieved even if you destroy your mobile phone or your computer, because in the hard disk everything is there. And even if you have thrown away your mobile or you have dumped your computer, it may be misused. So you have to be very, very careful in resorting to means for disposing of your electronic gadgets. And then you must install filters in your computer in order to prevent children from inadvertently accessing illegal data on the internet. And in order to purchase over the internet, it is always safe to use the cash on delivery option, because when you are using the online mode of payment, there you are sharing a lot of information. So that may be avoided. And one lecture I was listening, and I got a very good point that you should not link your this social networking site or these online purchasing sites with your salary account. You should maintain a different account from which you should do the shopping, etc., so that the whole of your money is not taken out. So that kind of precautions which we can take, not only for the purpose of securing our personal dignity and the body privacy, but we can secure ourselves financially also. And then we need to close the doors of internet by effective password selection. So always go for a very, very strong password and not for a mild one, because already the suggestions come when you are putting the password that you use different kind of characters. You are using small letters, caps, then some kind of special feature should also be there, and it should not be less than these numbers. So that kind of precautions can be also be taken. Then if you are expanding your friend circle, then you must do it with the prior information only. So do not add anybody in your friend list without his or her consent, and neither you add yourself to that list. Then you can use multiple email. Don't use multiple email IDs, because that way also you can be harassed. And you must be very, very willing to report the crime, and you should not encourage the hacking. But what happens, we know all these things, that law is in the proper place, we can use the law, but still we do not use the law. Why don't we use the law? Because we think that we invite another kind of danger when we go into the legal zone. So that kind of thing should not be there. We should not be very, very apprehensive about the authorities who are there for helping us. Because there are some preconceived notion about the police and the criminal justice system. Because it will take too long, the case will linger on for years and years. So that kind of apathy comes in the mind of the victim, and he or she does not want to go for the redressal of the grievance. So that is where the law fails. It is not the law is not good. Law is good. Law is in the proper place. But we are failing the law because we are not having the faith in the system. So it is basically the attitude of the victim also, what I personally feel, which promotes some crime in the society. So it is not only the criminals who are looking for the prey for committing the crime, but the victims are also there. Victimology is very, very important part of criminology. So we need to emphasize on the victimology also, that how we can avoid the dangers to ourselves, how we can avoid the criminals. So victimology is very, very beautiful part of the criminal justice administration system, and it needs to be emphasized more in present times. And then if we go for the reporting of the crime, the one thing which puts us back is that is the revealing of our past history. If we are going to the court, going to the police, going to the court, then several questions will be asked and our past history will be revealed. So it does not matter if you have done anything wrong in your past life. It does not mean that you cannot clean the slate. The formative system is always there. So we have to come forward. Even if we are revealing the past history by way of committing the crime, we must do it. So somewhere that this curtain of privacy needs to be broken, and the women need to be more vocal in reporting the crime. Sir has told certain forums where we can report, and it was really, really, and it was very, very knowledgeable for me also that he has given lots of WhatsApp number and other thing that what kind of document we need to have for reporting the crime. So what are the forums where we can go for the reporting the kind of cyber crimes? So like it is always told that if you are not coming to any rescue, if you do not know about anything, so just dial 100. So always the police is always there. And I have personally visited police stations, and I found that our police personnel are working in a very, very tight situation, and because there is so much workload and the facilities are not good, but still they are doing a lot for maintaining the law and order. The police is always there for your help. Then the cyber cells have been created for this specific purpose. There you can go for the reporting of the crime. And then there's Ministry of Women and Child Development. There also you can lodge your complaint, and then the National Commission of Women is already there. And if a child is minor against whom, a woman is minor against whom the crime has been committed, then one can go to the Commission of Children Commission also. On their website also the reporting can be done. So many forums are available. Any forum can be chosen for the purpose of reporting of crime. So only the important thing is that the women need to speak against violence, because if she is not coming out that the violence is being committed against her, and then she should not hope that this society is going to be amended or going to be made gender sensitive. So it is always better to talk about violence than to bear it or to tolerate it. And there is always a fear in our mind that if we report the crime or we say that it has been committed, and importantly, when a woman is educated in service, and if some kind of crime is being committed against her, then really she feels that it will be a source of fun for others. Look, she is so much educated, she has got legal education also. In spite of that, she is being harassed, she is being subjected to such kind of violence. But we should come out of this shame and should report the crime and should ask for justice. And then we should also come out from the glorification of the women. The women are glorified that they are meant for this thing, bearing all kinds of burdens in life, and they can be subjected to these kinds of indignities and harassment in life. So sometimes the learned helplessness is there. Women herself enjoy being in a helpless situation. So we have to come out of this. So glorification of violence is to be stopped. The glorification of women, pseudo glorification of women, that should also be stopped. And women should talk about the violence. Otherwise, the punishment will also lose the deterrent effect. So lastly, what I would like to say is that women should teach a good lesson to each abuser and defamer. Despite sitting and suffering silently, they should fight for the justice. Because as I already said that if you do not offend the crime will offend you. The crime will offend you. And this particular sentence I have taken from the case of Vishaka versus State of Rajasthan. That is very, very landmark judgment of Supreme Court. But one thing which is required is that justice delivery should be very, very speedy and effective. And the law should not do any kind of injustice in delivering justice to the women. The law should not be very, very static. It needs to be very, very dynamic. So in order to prevent and stop the crime, some very, very strict actions are required. Though the laws are in place, but the implementation is not good. And the implementation is not good because we are failing the system, we are failing the law. So we have to come forward, we have to report the crime, and only then the crime against women cannot be stopped, but it can be lessened, as I feel, because we have to live with crime in the society. It is said that it is like a cancer. If the cancer has happened, then you have to learn to live with it. So we have to learn to live with the crime, but we must learn what are the mechanisms, what are the laws through which with which we can save ourselves as well as our progeny also. So with these words, I thank the organizers again for inviting me to this prestigious platform and sharing the dais with the director JTRI, Khan Sahab and Vice Chancellor of Mannard University, Muhammad Javed ji, and with other faculty members. I thank Shoma Anand, Dr. Shoma Das. She was continuously in touch with me for having this program. And I would also like to thank my student Sanjeev Nimej, who is teaching there, who first gave me the information that they are having this webinar and they want to have me there. So I am thankful to all the persons who have been involved with this particular program. My only request is that be sensitive, and so far as the women grievance redressal cell is concerned, it also needs to be very, very sensitive in taking up the cases of women harassment at the university or at the college level. Because I have seen that though the cases are being reported, but nothing is coming out. So we have to come out of our psyche that crime is a real thing and we have to deal with it. And we all need to be sensitive. Not only the men have to be sensitive towards women, but women also needs to be sensitive towards women. If they are not going to understand the problem of a woman, then no one else in the world can. So it's better that we also train our young girls and young boys that they need to be gender sensitive to all. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for your valuable speech and excellent information, especially the list of the do's and don'ts you share with us. And yes, the crime against women is a sensitive issue, need to be handled sensitively. And now I will hand this mic over to Monica, ma'am, for the further carryover. Okay, ma'am. Monica, ma'am, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Now I welcome Honorable Vice Chancellor and the staff, sir.
Someone is saying that you appears to have created a record with your lengthy speech. Actually, Nimesh told me that you have to speak for 1 hour. So I prepared that way.
Hello. Can you all hear me, please?
Am I audible? Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Sir, I request you, please continue on speech.
Okay, thank you so much. Very kind of you. Right at the outset, I wish to convey my heartfelt thanks to two speakers who have come from Lucknow, Dr. Rashid Khan and Dr. Preeti Bishra. Both of them have given us a very, very, detailed analysis of the problem that the women today are encountering and what are the measures they should adopt, if possible, to get rid of this problem in case they're facing it. I have a little to add on to this issue because it has been covered threadbare. However, a few points which merit consideration, I may like to speak to you all. First of all, why is this cyber crime on the increase? That is a big issue. The crimes have always existed in the humankind, in the human life, right from the prehistoric age, as the society built on, the crimes did come into existence. But what is peculiar about cybercrime? Cybercrime, when you talk about it, the cyberspace is limitless. When you talk about commitment of cybercrime, it can be committed from one corner of the world without going there. That means jurisdiction has nothing to do with it. So therefore, it has got enormity. It has the potentials of being committed from any corner. That is why when you talk about cyberspace, it is, it is limitless, it's boundless. And to give you another perspective of how enormous the cyberspace is, I will just digress a little. From being armed forces, we have created a separate force for cyber warfare. That means it is also related to, it is so enormous that, and it has got so much of potential that without getting involved physically, you can commit an offense, you can cripple a weapon system, you can commit an offense and make it absolutely worthless. When you come back to the cybercrime per se, the fact is, so gigantic in nature that without realizing what you're doing you are being harmed. You are becoming subject to that, crime. So therefore, when we talk about what cybercrime is all about, it is an activity which is done using computers and internet. We can say that it is an unlawful act wherein a computer is either a tool or target or both. Now we have seen why it is committed. what is the enormity of the issue involved, what are the types. Dr. Preeti has mentioned in absolute details what are the types of cyber crimes that can be committed, whether it is crime A, crime B, crime C. The issue which comes up is, why is it being targeted against women? It is being targeted against men as well, but it is generally being targeted more against women. And what is the rationale? Why should women become the subject of this criminal act? Very rightly she brought it out. We have a patriarchal type of society where a male thinks he's superior to the female, where this feeling of superiority is indoctrinated into the mind of a young boy when the time he's being brought up in the house. So therefore, that somehow continues to grow with it. Plus, other thing which makes this a little different is when we compare with terrestrial crimes, there are four basic tenets which come up for comprehension. One is that it can be committed easier than other crime, and it is easier to learn to commit this crime. Second is, it requires less or few resources to commit this crime. I think she very aptly brought it out that it can be committed with a very little resources. Then it can be committed in any jurisdiction without being present there. You don't have to be physically present. The criminal doesn't have to be physically present to commit this crime. And of course, the next is the lack of legal clarity. I would very strongly urge, we all know what the cybercrime is. We all know the modalities of how it is committed. We all know the measures to counter this crime which is being committed, but yet we feel shy. Yet we feel shy to come out. Because again, the patriarchal system of society that we have been brought up, the लड़की जो है वो सहन कर ले लेकिन घर की बेइज्जती नहीं होनी चाहिए. Now this kind of a feeling needs to be dispelled from the minds of a young girl. This kind of feeling has to be dispelled in a very, very strong manner that look, you are not going to tolerate any kind of nonsense from anybody. You are equal. You continue to be equal. You exert yourself. You ask for your rights so that in society, when you grow up tomorrow, you are as good as any male. You are no less than any male. Number one. Second issue is why this crime, despite being discussed n number of places, discussed threadbare, it continues to rise. The reason for that is very simple, because we are in the digitized world today. And when we are in the digitized world today, the use of computers, use of this kind of tools is going to increase. And it is only going to increase in future. It is not going to come down because everything is getting digitized. And this is also facilitating our work to be done. So therefore, as we are concerned, we are required to be ready. Our women folk has to be ready to counter this. And the best way to counter this is to be educated. To be educated is one, and to be able to exert yourself is very important. Psychologically, we need to train ourselves that we will not tolerate any nonsense from anybody. Next is, when we teach, we teach about the digitized world, we have started teaching of the use of computers, right in the class 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th onwards. But are we focusing on how it can be misused against them? I think this particular issue is not being taught to the young kids, to the young ones in the school where they're being taught how to use computers and digitized world. So therefore, there is a very, very strong recommendation that this should become part of the curriculum at a 9th class or 10th class or 8th class level, that look, while you're exploiting the resources of a system, where you're exploiting the power of a system, it can also be misused against you because you're using it. So therefore, the precautions, the tools which can be used against, and what are the precautions against which you can guard against it, should also become part of the curriculum right from the days when the child learns the use of this computer system. Second important issue is we have talked about plethora of legal aspects. IPCs we have talked about, IT Act we have talked about, but how many of us are aware of it? How many of us are willing to utilize this? I think it is very low percentage. The reasons can be n number. Ignorance is bliss. Where somebody did make a mention where ignorance is bliss. Ignorance should not be. I think it was made a mention by Dr. Rashid Khan when he made a mention about Socrates. What is important is these laws do exist. IPCs do exist. The tenets of IPCs, CRPCs, IT Acts, they are existing from time immemorial. And they have been introduced now for cyber crimes also. But very few of us, mind you, when I see the word, very few of us are aware what is the exit clause. So therefore, there is a very strong requirement. There is a very strong necessity that this should also become part of curriculum, maybe from 10th, 11th. I leave it to the educationist that they are aware of it. The students are made aware of it, and they do not suddenly succumb to the pressure when they're facing the life problem of this kind of an act committed by the criminal. The next issue is the precautionary measures. The precautionary measures, we are all exploiting a system. We are exploiting the resources. We are all exploiting the potentials of a new system. But are we also aware that how to safeguard? Where is it being taught? It is not being taught anywhere. I'm the university level. I'm in the university for the last 7 years. I've been in this system ever since I left my army. It is not being taught anywhere unless you go for a specific courses, unless you go for a specific capsule of this. Now, where is this specific capsule being taught? Where is this specific instructions being imparted? Nowhere. So therefore, there is a requirement at every level, school level, university level, that this part also becomes, like we're talking about ethical values, this also becomes important to be disseminated, to be taught to the students. Next issue which I wish to highlight is ethical issues. I think Dr. Rashid did speak on this. It is a very, very important aspect. I being, I being almost near 70 years of age now, I find in my own life, the attitude of an individual towards ethical values have undergone a tremendous change. So therefore, when we talk about ethical values, yes, there is a beginning, it is being taught. There are people, educationists who are talking about this should become part of this curriculum again. There is very, very important requirement that this be taught, and we teach in this the gender sensitization of gender, the equality of gender. If this is taught right from the school days, when the child grows up, goes to the school, becomes an independent, this becomes part of the, his ethical way of thinking. So there is a requirement to concentrate on ethical issues as well. It includes teachings, principles of life. What are the moral values? This is all linked. That is why all this kind of crime that we are talking about, morphing, we are talking about pornographic literature, why is it on the increase? Because ethical values are not being concentrated upon as they should be concentrated. As there is a need to focus on these. Our young generation, when it is being brought up, young generation needs to be taught, look, this is good for you, this is bad for society, there is age for everything, don't indulge in this. The locker boy syndrome, locker boy issue, which was made a mention of, it's a live issue. The young kids, they may be 8, 10, 11 years of age. If they are indulging in this kind of activity, you can see what is in their mind. Unfortunately, we as parents take pleasures into introducing our kids to the new system, new tools. Yes, from education point of view, good. From exploitation of the system, good. But do we ever teach kids, don't go to these sites? Don't indulge in this kind of activities. Don't visit pornographic sites. We feel shy to talk to our kids. We feel shy talking to a girl, a daughter. We feel shy talking to a boy. So therefore, he explores for himself. When he attains the age of puberty, he or she explores for herself. And this all adds to the mental pressure, psychological pressure of the child. Look, let me explore it. Since nobody is giving me this kind of a knowledge, let me explore it for myself. And they become an easy tool, easy victim. Next point, which I wish to highlight. We as parents, we as brothers, we as sisters need to educate our young sisters, young daughters to safeguard against all this. I, for one, feel that crimes have always existed. We ensure that our house is locked. We ensure that our everything is packed. We ensure that our car has a gear lock. We ensure that our car is locked. We ensure security sentry for wherever living accommodation is for society. Why don't we ensure this, that our young generation, our girls, our sisters are taught how to guard against this? There is a definite requirement. You see, criminals will continue to explore. We as individuals must continue to be one above them to guard ourselves against those gentlemen or those criminals. So therefore, my strong recommendation, not only this becomes a part of education system in schools, this should also become part of teaching by the parents to the young ones, to the adolescents when they are growing up. They are not kept, away from this knowledge. This is knowledge. This is a part of growing up. So if they are aware of it, they will keep away from it. Next point, having seen all this, when we talk about law, we have spoken about n number of laws, n number of, IPC, CRPC, 60, 70, this is against this against that. How can we ensure that it is enforced? If some gentleman or some girl, some lady reports, I am sure somebody will take cognizance of it. First of all, she is shy of reporting. Second, the educate help is not forthcoming. It is not being, it is not being handled properly. So therefore, there is a requirement of not only law, there is a requirement to ensure that enforcement of law does take place. The culprits are brought to justice, and sooner they are brought to justice, the better it is. There is a saying that justice delayed is justice denied. So in this case, it is more important because of the enormity. It travels very fast. It travels with the speed of light. You do a thing here, it is known to other part of the world. So therefore, this particular act needs to be enforced very rigorously, and it needs to be enforced with greater will, greater determination, and the punishment given out to the culprit should be exemplary in nature. Then I thought of another things when you talk about the model, how to arrest this problem occurring in future. You see, we can handle it in three ways. First of all is when you talk about education. I did make a mention about education right from school days, that the students are educated, which could be what is a digital world, what are do's and don'ts. I think it was mentioned very clearly by Dr. Mishra. What is digital etiquette? Then what are the legal resources available should this crime happen to you? What are the digital resources available to you? What are the legal resources available to you? And finally, what is the cyber law? What does the cyber law say? And then something details about the prosecution. Reporting is one aspect. How many of them are brought to justice? It may take ages, it may take very long period before someone is brought to justice. Till then, he's free to carry on with the same activities. So we need to educate our students, especially the girl child, especially the women, about existing system, existing laws, existing precautionary measures, what can be adopted, what can be taken into consideration to guard against this, and how it is being misused against you. So therefore, as we are concerned, first stage is a part of education. Educate everybody. Educate everybody with the vulnerable group. And any woman is in the vulnerable group. Any man is in the vulnerable group. So therefore, educate everybody to what cyber crimes is all about, how it is committed, what are the measures to guard against this, what are the measures available to you to make it, what is the legal assistance, legal help available to you should it happen to you. So therefore, first is the part of education. Second issue which I wish to highlight is, linked to this is the empowerment of a woman, empowerment of a girl child. The empowerment involves three aspects. One is the legal empowerment, which I have been talking about, the legal clause, which have been highlighted by both the speakers, whether it's in terms of CRPC, in terms of IPC, or in terms of IT Act. It should be known by everybody. Other is the social empowerment. Now, this is where the problem lies. Socially, we try and curb this habit of bringing it into the notice, bring it into the forefront. Look, this is what has happened to me. We feel best is to just keep quiet about it. No, that is where we as a society must encourage. If it happens with somebody, you must encourage. You must encourage the person who the target is that, look, don't feel shy about it. Give her a social backing. Go and report. Bring it to the highlight. Highlight the issue involved. So that is, I am talking about social empowerment. Give her the psychological backing, because anybody who gets, hit by the cybercrime, he or she especially is, she loses her psychologically, she's withdrawn, she becomes introvert, she suffers, the parents suffer. So therefore, when we talk about social empowerment, there is a definite requirement to give her a social backing. Look, don't worry, it can happen to anybody. It has happened to you today, it can happen to my daughter tomorrow. So therefore, we as a society must become a prop for her, must become a support for her. Mentally, we need to support her. Psychologically, we need to support her. Psychologically, we need to boost her. Look, go ahead, face the consequences, but don't shy away from what has happened to you. It can happen to anybody. And the criminals need to be brought to justice immediately. The next is empowerment, is the mental empowerment, which somebody did make a mention about mental empowerment. The target who has suffered this kind of an attack, maybe because of morphing, because of n number of issues, is mentally very disturbed. They become mentally depressed. Some people just go into the shell. And so therefore, mentally, psychologically, we need to give a boost to her. She is required to be consoled. She is required to be, counseled. Look, you have not done anything. You just become, unknowingly, you have become the target of this. It has happened to you. So we as a society need to ensure social empowerment of a target. We in society, wherever, in whatever authority we are in, suppose it happens to a student, you as a faculty member, I as whatever authority I am in the university, need to console, need to hold the hand of the child, hold hand of that student. That look, don't worry, we are with you. You go ahead. We'll ensure that all stones are unturned. No stone is left unturned to, ensure that you get justice. So that is what I'm talking about, social empowerment, and linked to this is the mental empowerment. And the next issue is the legal aspect. When we talk about development of e-courts, development of cyber courts, and development of so many other, courts, but is somebody giving you a sympathetic listening? The issue which comes up is when somebody goes and reports, what is the reaction of the authority who's sitting there? Is somebody listening to you more patiently? Is somebody listening to you with empathy? Look, this has happened to you. If that is there, more and more people will come out and complain. So therefore, as far as that we are concerned, our students are concerned, we, in whatever power we are, we need to guide them. These are the legal aspects. These are the legal clauses. This is how you are covered. These are the legal courts. These are the cyber courts. You are at liberty to go and approach them. Then the effort of forensic labs with police. If they work co-jointly, they have a synergistic effect. I am sure more and more riddles will get resolved. More and more problems will get solved. So therefore, there is a definite requirement of forensic department and police coming with hands together and trying to resolve the issue. Other is development of a mobile app. Yes, there are a number of apps being developed. If somebody becomes a target, there should be easy system of informing. I'm sure one who's in the technical field, or maybe they have done it, I'm not aware of it personally. There is a definite requirement to have an app developed so that the victim can easily resort to this, make use of this app and inform. And similarly, there are other host of other factors which can be dovetailed into this to make it that with efficiency, with alacrity, the justice is not only the complaint is lodged and the justice is given to the individual. And there are so many other issues which can be considered. So I thought this is one model. We talk about education, we talk about empowerment, we talk about legal aspects at different level. And I'm sure with all of us in whatever capacity we are, there is going to be a very soon, people will become aware of it and sure that the justice will be given. But definitely there's a requirement to keep guard ourselves, because we may become the victim unknowingly, and also be aware of the precautions, also be aware of the aspects, legal aspects, also be aware of, generally aware of ourselves, how to guard against it. And we should be willing to extend our help should somebody become a victim to this. Finally, I wish to thank both the speakers who have spent a lot of time and who have given us a thorough analysis of the problem. we have become wise. And I also like to thank the listeners on behalf of the university, those who have spent their time, who have spared their valuable time and become part of this webinar today. And I'm sure with in future, the future holds good for all of us. Thank you so much. I wish you Godspeed to all of you. And my sincere thanks for being part of this webinar. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the able speech on stop. Am I able?
Yeah, you are out.
Yes. Now I request to everyone, please on your camera for a screenshot. And thank you everyone for joining us for all the time, and very important to give your valuable time on today's seminar. Please on your videos, and we already given the feedback form on our chat box. Please fill it and send it to us for timely given to the certificate. मुलाकातों का सिलसिला ऐसे ही चलता रहे, इसी के साथ आगे भी ऐसे ही चलता रहे, इसी के साथ मैं आप सबसे विदा लेती हूँ. और उससे पहले now I offer the mic to Dr. Deepak Sharma sir, HOD of CSE department for vote of thanks. Over to Dr. Deepak Sharma.
Am I audible, Monica ma'am?
You are audible.
Ma'am, am I audible, Monica ji?
Audible.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Honorable VC Dr. Mohammad Javed sir, respected Registrar Colonel DP Singh sir, Chief Guest Dr. Humayun Rashid Khan sir, Guest of Honor Dr. Preeti Mishra, and our most invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to have you ask. Hello. Yes, ma'am.
Please on your camera.
My camera is on, ma'am.
No, sir, not visible.
Yeah, to everyone. Congratulations to. Hello.
So, ma'am, I think there is a
I think now I am visible to all of you. Hello. Hello.
Sir.
Hello. Am I visible, Jyoti ma'am, now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, it's
Deepak
my
sir,
privilege to
update
have been
video.
asked to propose. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Is it okay now?
Deepak sir, you can continue.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of Monad University, myself Deepak Sharma, take this golden opportunity to thank the respected Chief Guest Dr. Humayun Rashid Khan sir, Guest of Honor Dr. Preeti Mishra ma'am for attending this webinar from their busy schedule. Dr. Rashid Khan sir shared his valuable knowledge and thoughts regarding the technological magic. He told us that like magic, technology has two effects. One is positive, another is negative. On the one hand, technology is giving so much advantages to us, and on the dark side, it is going to be very harmful to us. He also focuses on cybercrime, child pornography, vulgar emails, etc. Thank you very much for sharing some surprising data regarding cyber abuses. This will definitely help us to understand the topic of this webinar, and our guest of honor, Dr. Preeti Mishra, provided some valuable information about cybercrime by giving some examples of Delhi and Tamil Nadu cases. He also enhanced our knowledge about IT acts, morphing, trolling, Pasco acts, etc. She also indicate for some points regarding teaching and learning. The way we have to use digital or web space. In this scenario, where Google Meet, Zoom, Facebook, WhatsApp, these things are become very common, not only for us, but for 6 to 7 year student. They are also using this Google Classroom, all these things. Facebook, WhatsApp, all these things. We have to be very careful for using these things. She also tells about human safety, how to protect our password, how to use this internet. Very much, ma'am, for being with us today. I extend my gratitude to the Honorable Mohammad Javed sir, DP Singh sir, not only spending their valuable time with us, but also encouraging us by their views and thoughts to achieve many endeavors. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I would also like to thank our finance officer for giving us financial support to organize this seminar. It is my pleasure to thank all the participants from different universities and colleges like BHU, AMU, Committee universities. From all over India, we have participants today. I would also like to thank our organizing team, Women Grievance Cell, Dr. Soma Das ma'am, Dr. Monica ma'am, Dr. Saurvi Datta ma'am, Dr. Devashish Sharma, Mr. Amit, Mr. Sanjeev, Dr. Jyoti Vesla ma'am for organizing such a successful webinar. I would also like to thank our Deputy Registrar, Mr. Sohail Ahmed sir, COE Dr. R.V. Singh sir, Dr. Rahul Das Gupta, Mr. Vikas Tyagi ji, Dr. Rajendra Singh, Dr. Sanjeev Singh, Dr. Ajit Kiran, Mrs. Garima Gupta and Dr. Dipanshu Agrawal and all the faculty members for their memorable and valuable presence today. My special thanks to all the students, research scholars who are participating in this webinar. Last but not the least, I would like to thank our IT team, Mr. Manoj and Gauravji, Media Cell, Dr. Kuldeep ji and Dr. Devashish Sharma, who gave us their valuable contribution in organizing this successful webinar. And last, I would like also to thank all the persons who are directly or indirectly involved in organizing this seminar. Thank you very much. Over to Ms. Dr. Monica ma'am.
Near to ending and just ending. Hello.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
And thank you all of you again to your participants. Now I request to IT department, please on your video on national anthem to end the program. And for the participant, if there are any query, they can send the mail on nationalwebinar@monarch.edu.in. For any query, you can send us mail if you are not getting the feedback.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
All right.